Welcome to Thursday Night Shift. We hope you are excited to join us tonight on this beautiful Thursday in September. Real quickly, as we are kicking off, I'm just going to say, last week our stream on Facebook got taken down. I'm having a disagreement with Facebook at the moment, and they're not liking me. So what I've gone ahead and streamed it again. But if that happens, I apologize. We don't have a lot of options because they kind of have the control over there. So I'm just going to apologize about that now. We're just going to go with the flow and we're going to see what happens. This week, our question to kick us off is going to be, what is something basic in your business that maybe you got away from that you would like to get back to? And since Melissa kind of something she was sharing inspired us to go with this question, why don't you go ahead and start us off, Miss Melissa?
I need to get back to loaning people product to try. Try this warmer, put this warmer in your office, put this warmer in your salon, put this wall fan diffuser that you've never used because you've only ever used wax and warmers. Try this wall fan diffuser. Getting back to getting product out there for people to demo for like 3 days. And you can do it under the premise of I'm collecting testimonials. I want your feedback. Like, did you love it? Do you need one? That's such a basic thing that we used to do all the time when I was growing my business. And then I need to do it more. I have been doing it with counter clean, but not asking for the counter clean back. And I have gotten people hooked on the counter clean because of it, but I need to do it more. So that's my answer.
Absolutely. The more you know, the more you possibly are going to buy, right? I'm going to say like normally the more you know, the more you grow, but
I thought you were going to say grow. The more you know, the more you grow. I really thought that's what you were going to say.
But they're going to grow their shopping cart.
Sure, that's right.
Who wants to go next? I don't want to.
I can. Mine's very basic though. It's really happening in my real life. I mean, this is like for real happening. I literally have told Maudie and I have told, I think I told Mama Bev, I said, I have to get back to doing events again. I got really complacent when I was doing them in the beginning. I was saying yes to everything. And I started saying no to some things, and I need to get back to saying yes to everything because my business is not where I need it to be. And I'm not meeting enough new people or sponsoring enough new people, which means I'm not meeting enough new people. So I literally have been on Google just trying to find as many events as I possibly can, whether it's me setting up a table with hardly any product like Debbie Pitts Palmer does and just talk about the business first. Whether it's, I said, I hate outdoor events because I hate to sweat and I hate to have my bars melt. I mean, I really hate outdoor stuff, but here I am doing a trunk or treat now. Like I literally am finding and filling my calendar the busiest season of my life because I need to change my business. So I would suggest trying something new and saying yes to the dress. I mean, not the dress, you're not getting married, but you know what I mean? Say yes to everything because honestly, if your calendar is not full, you're doing something wrong. You've got to have a full calendar, whether that is parties, whether that is fundraisers. I mean, whatever it may be, you've got to have a full calendar. Even if it's private shopping, people coming over to smell testers, fill your calendar with something. JP.
It's really basic answer, but I can remember I used to be like, if someone said, oh, I don't want to do a party, I don't have time, I'd be like, oh, well, I'll come to your place of business and I'll just come on lunch break for this time to this time and just display everything and have a quick overview. Like I used to just be like Heather, like I said yes to everything and I've gotten real relaxed, but that was some way that I was like, you don't have to do anything. I'll just hang out with a little setup with basically just the testers back then and just be present in the break room. And that alone was great. And also right along with that was sending like borrow bags, not even product, just like the bag of testers. And I would send that to people all the time. They would place one order with me and I'd be like, you know what? I know you placed this one order, but I'm going to send this with you to work for the week. I've gotten so lazy, honestly, so incredibly lazy. And I've quit asking for that simple thing. So those are my two little things that I threw in there. So Jen, you're next.
Okay, so I have something, but I'm going to swing back around borrow bags. And I just wanted to share real quick that Scott and Alexandra Wick Free, they are superstar directors in Region 2, super successful. They built their entire business on borrow bags. So they would literally take a bag, put one warmer, a bottle of counter clean, just a few things that they had, anything that they had, and they would go drop it off at a business and say, hey, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll pick it up. We just want you to be able to try this stuff out. They would pick it up and they would literally talk every person into joining. So that was kind of it was called a borrow bag, but it was like a join bag. So honestly, if you do that, you don't even have to try to sell anything. All you have to do is show up and pick your stuff up and say, hey, I just wanted to pick my stuff up. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't say anything else. They will say to you, if you don't try to sell to them, they will try to buy from you. And then that's when you say, hey, you could join, which brings me to what I was going to say is, of course, you guys all know that I'm going to say offering the opportunity to everybody. We used to offer the opportunity to everybody. I still try really hard to do that. I'm going to tell you guys, because of the Hocus Pocus, I got 4 recruits from just the Hocus Pocus warmer because they all wanted to buy Hocus Pocus from me. And I said to them, you know that you can get a full size warmer for $22 plus a bunch of other stuff, and then buy Hocus Pocus from yourself. And then if you have any friends, you can open up a link and they can, I forget what the fancy words, Steffi Marlborough posted it recently. I can't remember what she said, but it wasn't like your own shopping link. It was like I can't remember what it was called, but anyway. And they were like, oh, so I could make money? And if any of my friends want to buy Hocus Pocus, I'm like, yes. So literally, just because this is why you take advantage of these LTOs, because they are the best recruiting tool out there. I mean, there's a lot of good recruiting tools, but honestly, anytime an LTO comes out, go out there, share it like crazy, and then explain to them why they'd be better off to buy, especially during a $22 join special. So offering the opportunity to everyone. Remember a couple of things. When people say no to you, they mean not now, or I don't know enough. No does not mean no, I never ever want to sell Scentsy and I hate it. It means this isn't the right time, or I don't know enough about this business. And also remember that when you don't offer the opportunity to people, you are being stingy. That's what I say, is you're being stingy. Like, you're totally holding something really fantastic from them that you should be offering them. And then the third thing would be, if you don't ask them, how often we used to say this? I saw Patty Lynch. We used to say this all the time. If you don't ask them, someone else will. And it happens over and over and over again. Ask people, give them the opportunity, give them the chance to say no and say, okay, no problem, and go on, but always lead with join. Okay, sorry, I got on a little tangent. Callie, you went, right?
Yeah, no, I'm next. So
you didn't. Okay, you talked.
No,
I could, sorry.
No, you're good. So my thing is actually kind of more of a leadership tip and a back to the basic. And it's actually was the first thing that my mom, when I started working with her in our Scentsy businesses, she kicked it off before I joined her full time. This is what she hired me to do. And so what that is focusing on the promotions. And what does that mean? And so about the 15th and the 25th of the month, I would go into our reports and I would literally go through our team line by line. And I would say, hey, so-and-so, did you know that you are X amount of dollars away from X, Y, or Z? So what that would look like is, did you know you were just $500 or, $500, that's not what I meant to say. You were $25 from being active this month. What does that mean? Did you know that you are, X amount away from promoting to certified? And that means you get a 5% raise. Did you know you have 1,000 PRV on your own? You pretty much already have the TWV to hit lead. You just need one more team member to join and become active. Do you have somebody on your list, right? And just kind of asking those questions and sending those messages one by one to let them know, hey, and what we found is a lot of times most people did not know how close they were to their next promotion. They didn't know what their next promotion was. They didn't know that they were missing out on earning leadership bonuses because they didn't have their 500 PRV. And so it was more going back and just doing that education part. And then again, you can touch base, you can set a note for yourself. If you touch base on the 15th, you can do that then, and then follow up on the 25th, or whenever that works for you to just say, oh my gosh, you did it. Or, hey, you're almost there. Do you need some tips to help you get there? Right. And it's putting that one-on-one touch with promotions. So that's kind of what I would say for mine. But with that, so I actually had another one I was going to say, and then that one kind of came to me as I was sitting here, but I do know that one's important. But the other one kind of ties into, we are going to do a couple different things tonight. I'm really excited because we have a guest speaker. I got to spend an hour and a half last night with these two individuals, and it was so much fun. And it actually was one of those things that I was like, oh, that's a basic I want to get back to, is getting to connect a little bit more one-on-one yes, it was Scentsy related because we have that in common. But at the same time, there was other conversations that were had. And so I got to spend the evening last night with Pete and Lynn Lowe, and Pete is actually showing as Lynn Lowe, and Lynn is showing as Pete and Lynn Lowe. And they're actually sitting right next to each other in their office, which I think is so cute because I can see Pete's shoulder on the other side of Lynn. But so we were talking, and Pete was just kind of going over some other things. And as we were talking about topics today, I sent a message and I said, Pete and Lynn, of course, because you guys did this thing together, can you come on and share some of the things that you're talking about in your meetings and how you're sharing your business? And so at the last minute, they came and said, yeah, I'd be happy to do so. So if you guys just want to unmute and kind of tell us what you're doing to continue to grow your business. And they've been in Scentsy for what, 2008. So it's been a long 14 years, 13 years. Yeah, you guys can tell us. Tell us a little about you guys.
Go for it.
Okay.
Oh, you can't both unmute. And one of you has to mute your your screen because you'll echo.
Okay. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes. And then Lynn, mute your computer.
Okay. So it's good to see everybody. A lot of you I had seen at SFR, you know, Ross and Jen and Heather and Melissa and everybody. We had an awesome time and really, really had fun. One thing, 13 and a half years ago when I got into the business, I came from the construction field. And talk about going out, getting out of the box, getting off, doing something different. And at that time I was hungry. I needed to figure something different out. Before I got into Scentsy, being in the construction business, I did networking for a lumber yard. I used to do takeoffs on plans and did estimates on garages and houses and all that. And so when I had got laid off, then I started going to the same networking group for Scentsy. And it was a challenge for me. And this was 13 and a half years ago. And educating them on how important fragrance was in their lives and in their businesses. Just this last week, I read an article that talked about to de-stress and to help take care of burnout, anxiety, depression. There's two things that help: fragrance and chocolate. Chocolate's huge, but fragrance is even bigger. So these guys that are in my networking group, guys and gals, I talk to them about when they come home from work, if they're stressed, make sure that they've got a warmer on of some kind. If the warmer's not on and they forget to turn it on, I talk them into buying timers from Menards because they're only $3 and some cents, and they can get those timers all situated so it goes off right before they get home from work. So they open their front door and that hits them, that changes their mood. We had a training the last 2 Wednesday mornings on burnout. And those guys, I told them, I said, you've got to get more fragrance in your life because it will change your mood. It'll change your stress and your burnout feeling. I have a customer that buys room sprays a lot because she gives mortgages in a bank. And so she sprays before she gets her customer, and her customer comes in. And a lot of people, when you're going to go see a mortgage person, they're a little stressed, but the fragrance seems to mellow them out. Probably aloe and cucumber, and it really mellows them out. When I go into my meetings, I get there early and I spray the entryway with a scent. So when they walk in the front door, they say, "Oh, Pete's here," you know, and they walk in the room with a smile on their face, and that's what I want. I go around the room and I all over the place, and so those guys, they're getting used to me, which is great. One of the meetings I was at, there's a friend of mine that was a manager of a truck accessory store. And so he got very interested and he wanted his store to have an atmosphere. So when his customers walked in the front door, they smelled a fragrance. And I actually told him something that I really didn't know. I said, you know, if I could come up with a specific fragrance for you that would make people buy more, would you be interested in that fragrance? And he said, of course. And I was just throwing that out. I had no idea. And of course, I picked Sunkissed Citrus because that's one of my favorites. And so he bought a warmer for his store. And then a few years later now, they own 15 stores. And they have 2 warmers in each store. So they put in twice a year, 2 6-packs per store times 15. And that was all because of my networking group. You know, I drop hints all the time on how my job is to help them build their business and with fragrance. I have, and I've told this before, a lot of times when I'll go in the bank, I take our fragrance flower and the receptionist say, hi, can I help you? I just have a deposit, but would you babysit this fragrance flower for me? And she look at me and say, sure. So I go and I get my work done at the bank. Then I come back and I said, yeah, I'm here to pick up my fragrance flower. She goes, I love that. And if I have other chores around the area, I said, why don't you I'll come back in about an hour and I'll pick it up. And they have orders for them. And I just try to share that a lot. So I have a financial advisor that gives all of his widows fragrance flowers. And he's got quite a few widows. And so it's great. I get he usually does that for Valentine's Day. I talk businesses into giving scent circles. I have now for quite a few years as a thank you. We normally get scent circles as a free or half price item anyway. And so I have an auto detailing place that will detail a car completely inside out, do a ceramic coating on the outside and that. And the customer comes and picks up their car. He gives them their keys and gives them a scent circle and says, thank you for your business. They put it in their car and all they think about is that detailing business, because as you guys all know, fragrance affects your brain. I have a guy that sells water softeners, same kind of thing. I have a guy that is in plumbing and heating, same kind of thing. He gives his even when someone says that they want a quote or a bid on a plumbing job, when he leaves, he goes, by the way, thank you very much for having me come and quote the job. And so what they do then is they hang that in their car or in their house, and then they think about calling him back because that fragrance works on his mind. Sam, a massage therapist, always gives a scent circle to her people when they leave. An insurance agent, everybody that comes in for an auto quote, he gives them a scent circle. Pet daycare, they come and pick up their dog, you give them a scent circle. And they because of that, I got a really good customer, Herman, his name is, and he buys scent circles and warmers and wax from me all the time now, which is really great. Auto repair place, he does a oil change, he checks the car all out. He said, everything looks good, here are your keys, here's a scent circle. And so I try to educate businesses on using scent circles as a thank you. If someone helps me in a lumber yard, here, thank you. I do a deposit in the bank, a drive-up window. Thank you very much. Anything else I can do for you? No, but do you want a Scentsy treat? I would love a Scentsy treat. So I make sure that I go back to that same teller or that same drive-up window. And then I said, hey, would you be interested in doing a party? You know, it's a great time of year. Christmas is on the way. I know you don't want to hear that, but, and so I've been booking parties left and right. And that works really, really well by giving scent circles and just kind of pave the way for that question. you want to have a party. And that seems to work really, really good. I don't know if I don't really have anything else. If anybody has any kind of questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer, but when
There
I got,
was one, it was what fragrance are you giving out in all your scent circles? And Lynn kind of got that for you, but
I sold close to 300 sun-kissed citrus scent circles, because guys also tie in with that. You know, they're not going to give out something that is more of a floral, something like that, fruity. And sun-kissed citrus was more of a generic.
and it discontinued and you cried. No, you didn't cry, really. I'm just throwing you out there.
And then they
Oh,
get,
yes, he did.
then they discontinued it, and it was like, are you kidding me? So I still give out, you know, and those guys do, and they buy 50 and 100 at a time, which is really fun, you know. And so I hope I gave you some ideas on.
Yeah, Pete, we have a question from Ariel watching the Facebook stream. How do you introduce the idea to them, to your oil change guy, for example? How do you bring that up? What's an example of what you would say?
What I do for the guy, you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I talk to him about that, I give them examples in the networking group. And I told him, I said, so Rich, for example, you do an oil change and he's got a chair inside his shop. It's not like you can go anywhere. You sit there and watch him kind of work on your car. Then I told him, I said, when you're all completely done, just hand them that with their keys and say, thank you for your business. I hope you come back. Remember, oil change every 3,000 miles, and then he gives it to them. I kind of try and educate them on using these as a thank you. And my commercials have continually been about the effects of fragrance on memory. And you want your customers to rebook with you. And that's.
I love that. I was in a couple of networking groups as well. How would you suggest people, if they're not in a networking group, how would you suggest that they find them in their local area? How did you find this one, and how would a consultant go about belonging or finding what's in their area?
I've always been in the past, been a different one right now, but in the past it's called BNI, Business Networking International, and they're all over the place. And I would check that, and you're allowed to visit the group twice before you have to join. And I totally recommend visiting a group, pass out cards, visit twice, whether you get in or not.
Look at
Yeah.
men versus.
I've been to several BNI groups. There is a fee to belong to that one. I know that there was some local women business that people in my area on your Facebook groups, like City of Pearland, or you can find and say, hey, I'm a local business owner in the area looking for a networking group. Just start asking people around, but BNI is one. Isn't Toastmasters one? And there's several like known networking groups that they force you to network or you're done, which is the purpose. Some of them are more social aspects, I would say. I've been through several over the years, and just start asking around for sure on Facebook, or ask some of your friends or other fellow business owners.
Yeah, and the one I'm currently in is called Biz to Biz, B-I-Z, Biz to Biz, and that one's been a great one. There's about, I think, 15 members. When I started going to BNI, there was 70 members, so it's kind of intimidating standing up and doing a 60-second commercial. But those 60-second commercials is how I sell to these guys and educate them on how to grow their businesses. And but Biz to Biz is a really good one, and they're all over the United States also. BNI is a lot more structured. Biz to Biz is a little bit more laid back. So I like that one, but and then
I love that though, because it gets you practicing of what rolls off your tongue. So when you meet people in the grocery store or out and about, you literally can sell it just by rolling situations or scenarios off your tongue. You become really good at letting it just flow. I think that's really important to know.
Yeah, and when you do visit these groups, check out how many women, how many guys. I mean, I've had good success on guys having their wives and significant others order, do parties, things like that. Because guys weren't born with that fragrant gene. That's been my biggest challenge these last few years, is trying to educate guys on fragrance. You know, there's not many of, they don't care if their truck smells like crap. They really don't. It's the wives that say, oh, we got to get, I'm glad you gave him a scent circle because his truck smells so much better. But check out the number of women that are there in that group, because they're the ones that are the most important. They're the ones that will react and buy Scentsy more than the guys do.
What I love about that though is, like, I've even been in networking groups, and I'm no longer in the networking group. But even today, I learned so much from you of just about some different ways. I know when Heather's talked about, like, okay, yes, you can do realtor baskets, but mortgage brokers also do baskets for their people, right? And you just shared with us a whole bunch of different ways that businesses can use them. And I was like, man, had I had some of those, or I was always late to my meetings, but if I had showed up and planned to be there 5 minutes early or 10 minutes early or whatever, right, and sprayed, I thought that was so great, because not only that, you're creating a lasting memory of Pete. And so when something comes up in their everyday life, and they are like, oh, I need a gift, or, oh, this place smells bad, they need a room spray like Pete, right? Or whatever that may look like, you're creating that lasting memory, which ties into scent memory, right? So I've written that down as it's creating that memory. And that was kind of what I got from you when we were talking yesterday, was about creating that experience. You know, we're about doing that for us and our businesses, but what experience are we saying for others to do? And I love that that's just how you tied it into each person, and thinking outside of the box is how they can use our fragrance products in their world. Probably at a desk where there's, you know, at the banker, it might not be as easy for them to plug in a warmer, right? But a fragrance flower is totally something they can keep right there. And as we know, when you walk by that fragrance flower, it's that instant burst of fragrance. And if they're like, they have somebody come over and like, man, you smell really good today, what is that? And they're like, oh, actually, one of my customers left me this fragrance flower. How great is that? It's also giving other opportunities that you might not even be aware of yet, right? And so I just think it's about getting outside of our normal box.
Right. And when we get new people in the group, I always give them a scent circle. I give everybody in the group a scent circle. And the number of times when we do during the meeting, also, we do a referral and testimony. So if I got my oil change from Rich, who, you know, gives out scent circles, and I stand up and I say, I got to tell you guys that, you know, sometimes you worry about trust when you go to a brand new mechanic, and I give him a testimony on how good he did. And so some of the women in the group will stand up and say, Pete, I got to tell you that every time I get in my car, I think of you. And it's like, yes, yeah, do a party. So,
yeah. And Lynn's over here. Most people would be like, wait a minute, you're thinking about my husband? And it's like, yeah, do a party.
I know. I want them to think about me and then buy stuff.
Exactly. Okay, let me just look here. I just think that I just loved our time yesterday. And I just thought that some of the really great things that you shared were just, both of you were just on point. And just that reminder again of also getting back to those basics and just thinking outside the box of how we can use it, and remembering to share the fragrance, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're doing just that. I don't talk about this, and I'm going to be very vague. We have had for way before Scentsy another business, and our slogan for that business was keep your name on your customer's lip, because we did private label and manufacturing. That's actually how we got into Scentsy, our sponsor. Anyways, it's a whole thing. But that comes back around to that same thing, right? Keep your name on your customer's mind through fragrance. Every time they smell that, they're going to think of you. And I don't know why I never connected those two before, but tonight that was a new connection all these years later. And that's exactly what it is helping businesses use your business to keep their customers coming. And then in full circle, hopefully comes back to you. So
yes.
Very great. Very perfect. So thank you, Mr. Pete. Is there any other questions, anybody, or any, let me look back over here.
There was just one quick one. They said Sunkissed Citrus is not available in circles right now.
No.
What do you suggest since that is gone?
I don't know. I'll give Amazon rain, and then some of the new fall ones. The guys really like Around the Campfire, and
okay.
Yeah, that has been a real good masculine one for guys. Women, I still do like aloe vera, or I'll do Amazon. Amazon's a great one.
Yeah, that is a good one. Perfect.
If you can tell them to ignore the name Scarlet Sunflower, I'm telling you, it's not, I don't even like
Yeah.
floral fragrances. If they could ignore the name, it's
Just
just
what
like
you and
really
Jody
nice-
said. I've got to warm that. Y'all said y'all absolutely love, love, love that scent. I'm going to try it tomorrow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Miss Melissa, did I interrupt you? Sorry. You're good.
No. No, I was just gonna say, and somebody put it in the chat and Pete said it and somebody put it in the chat, but I just wanted to say it out loud again. I love the premise of how can I help your business? How can my business help your business? Because it isn't just about how can I make a sale? It's how can I help you? And
Right.
that is that's a common theme with new team members and getting on hostesses and getting them to host parties. It's not about you getting the party and the sale. It's about what you can do to help them get what they want. Same premise holds true across the board. Buy, host, and join. It's what can your business, what can fragrance, what can Scentsy, what can you do for somebody else? And I love that Pete said it, and I just wanted to reiterate that.
One thing I have to say, one thing my commercial yesterday morning, it's every Monday mornings or every Wednesday mornings from 8:30 to 9:45. And so my commercial was, and this was I stole the word from Scentsy from the past, is the word was reimagine. And I said to them all, I said, reimagine your business with Scentsy. Reimagine that and how it can help you grow. And they all really like that. I said that word is very, very important. You got to reimagine things, think out of the box. How can you change your business different than anybody else's? Well, I know how. You walk into other businesses and you don't smell scarlet sunflower, so.
I love that. And I love that you put yourself out there, out of your house, away from your computer, leaving your house in an opportunity every single Wednesday to meet new people or better your business and learn something new. And so that equals growth always, always. So that's very cool. Thanks so much, Pete. I wrote so many little notes down. I love it.
Good. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you guys very much for sharing. Thank you for spending that time with me. And if you haven't already, connect with Pete and Lynn because they're super fun and awesome. And we love having them in part of our community. Actually, they're part of our group that ride or died at the Tabernacle with us at SFR until all hours of the night, multiple times. So we had a good time with them. So thank you guys for sharing and for being with us tonight. So the next thing we're kind of going to move into is something that has been a part of my conversations with my team members. It's been part of my conversations with pretty much anybody that's come to me and said they've been struggling to meet a goal recently. So if you've been struggling maybe to meet your PRV goals or to get to a certain point, I mean, some of you might agree that that's maybe been where you are, right? Maybe there's a little struggle. So I'm going to ask you a question and you don't have to tell us what it is. You can if you want, but if you were to be 100% honest with yourself, and you're maybe struggling with your goal, how many people have you gotten a bar, your testers, or an actual fragrance sample under somebody's noses where you've been able, and you've asked them for their feedback? So yes, you mail it, right? But did you follow up for the feedback? Or did you get a tester under somebody's nose? Because when you're there, you get the immediate feedback, right? How many people have you gotten fragrance under their noses in the last 30 days? And I bet the majority of us will say not very many. Right? Because the bottom line is we want to post and pray. We want to post it on social media. We want to post it in our VIP groups. We want to send out a text message and we want to hope that gives us our results. An event does count, Tony. So if you've been to an event and you've been talking to people and you've been getting fragrance in their noses, although I will say, based on my conversation with Pete and Lynn yesterday, they recently did an event and we were discussing how shocking it was that a lot of the vendors just kind of sat there in their chairs. And they were like, maybe Lynn, maybe that's something you told me the story. You might be able to even say that, right? But events, if you're sitting in your chair and you aren't getting up and you're not engaging with people and you're not saying, hey, do you want to smell this? And hey, and if you're not working the aisle and you're just sitting back and letting people scan, you're probably not gonna. I don't know that that's what you did, Tony. So I'm not saying you did. But if you're at an event, it only counts is if you're actually getting the fragrance under their noses, right? So if you have not and you haven't reached your goal, that's probably a part of your answer. Because bottom line is, we are a fragrance company. The smelling does the selling. You will hear us say that over and over again. As we talk to getting back to those basics, I will say, I mean, my sales are decent, right? I went from a 500 monthly girl to 1,000 consistent monthly girl, and I'm working on getting to that 2,000 consistent still, right? Focusing on customers and things. But it takes time and it gets those fragrance under their noses. So what's the next step? If I'm doing great with my marketing mail, but I haven't done great with follow-up. So if I follow up and ask them what their thoughts are on those fragrances, but then also back to the basics of simply getting testers under people's noses. That is where you're going to see the sales grow. And I bet if you ask a lot of people, if I look at the faces that are here, just like Pete and Lynn, 14 years, Patty Lynch, I think is about 14 years, Jen, Melissa, Heather, like our panels, like if you've been here a long time, you probably built, odds are, before social media. And before social media, that was the only way to do it, was to physically get fragrance under noses. And so that's what I'm going to kind of challenge you guys. And Heather, you unmuted. So before I move to the next piece, did you have something you want to add here?
Really quick, as you were talking about craft fair events, being at events, how many of y'all been to an event where you literally see somebody head down, arms crossed in a corner, tucked back? I typically don't buy from them. You know why? Because they're not hungry. They're not hungry enough to be out there and wanting to have a conversation or even meet people. Love that, Tony. She goes, I don't even bring a chair. Awesome. Great advice. And number two, this is exactly why I do 3 flat felt samples every single mail, every single month to every mailer, because we're in the fragrance business. You can't just post a really great description of, oh, Johnny Appleseed smells like I'm eating a red, delicious apple and saliva is coming all about in my mouth. No, I mean, yes, that's gross a little bit. Maybe it's making someone like it. I don't know. But the minute they smell it, that brings them in. That captures. We are a fragrance business. And so it is important to be intentional with your sampling, but be intentional with your following up, right? So I just had to just say kudos, absolutely, Callie, to those 2 points, because it's so true. JP?
I wanted to follow up right behind her because she made me think of things. What she said about like not going into a booth or event, whatever, where people are sitting there in the corner. This is what I've noticed. Maybe not for y'all, but if I'm already engaging with someone, whether it be a customer or another consultant there working with me, more people are likely to walk in. Versus if you're sitting there like this, they know that you're like either going to glare at them or you're going to totally ignore them. So when they see you interacting with others, then they feel like they can kind of slide in and look, and then it kind of organically happens every single time that happens. And then just to follow up with Heather about the felt flat, I had a lady and her daughter come pick up their castles and some other things. They were only picking up their pre-orders, which were already done, right? But they were like, oh, you sent us Harvest Blessings. Do you have any? I need some Harvest, all because I put those samples in the mail. So I'm just reiterating exactly what Heather said, but those 2 things literally stand out very much to me, because I am the timid one that doesn't really want to go up to talk to people, but I know that I have so much better interaction when I'm already talking to someone, and it allows the flow to kind of happen naturally.
And I want to say something to that, JP. What's funny is we're always super hypercritical on ourselves. And like something that JP just said, I've worked events with JP, and she has this warm energy that does draw people in. So it's really funny to hear like how people talk about themselves, and or like what we think about ourselves and how we are hypercritical of ourselves. People just like nice people. You don't have to be polished. You don't have to be a great public speaker. You don't have to be anything but have a smile on your face and be nice, because people like nice people. And I wanted to draw attention to that we're hypercritical on ourselves, but even having had experience working events with JP, she's amazing at it. And she's warm and she's inviting and she smiles and she engages and she makes people feel good. And that's all it takes to convert to better conversation, better connection, relationship building, a sale, a party, a new consultant, whatever. And so
Just want to say one more thing, since we're still talking about events for just 2 seconds. I'll tell you what was fun about working with Melissa. Not only was it just fun to be with Melissa and Heather at the time, but hearing a customer come in and And then us giving our 3 different opinions on maybe what scent we sell the most of, or what would you recommend for this? And like Melissa and I always have this banter because she doesn't sell weathered leather. And I have to have an abundance of weathered leather. And so there's always this fun dynamic between the different consultants so that's just another fun aspect. I know it's totally sidebar, but it made me think of how fun that is because people just want to be around that energy and be around nice people. And it makes for fun conversation. So just work with your teams and work with your friends if possible.
And that's just it. I'll tell you what, I learned more from doing an event with Jamie and Heather than I learned trying to teach myself anything. Watching other consultants' styles, watching other consultants' approaches, watching Heather upsell ice to Eskimos, like it's unbelievable. But having the opportunity to do or to shadow at an event, even for an hour, if you have the ability to tag team with somebody and say, let's work an event together and let's learn from each other. Let's use it as a learning experience. Let's learn from each other's styles. Let's learn. I mean, that is how I picked up so many of the great little tactics that I now use at events is from working with these two. And so, yeah.
So what's so funny is, so this is not where the conversation was going, right? I'm so glad that it did, because I think what this tells us is, looking at some of the questions is, maybe actually what we need to do is a topic on events, right? And talking about how to find them, maybe some tips and things, because even last night, sorry, you refer back, when I was talking to Pete and Lynn, I was like, if you haven't, do your drawing slip, instead of doing like your paper, we talked about this before, do a QR code, because what if somebody just walked past your booth and they don't want to talk to you because they don't like people, and they don't want to stop in your booth because you might try and sell them and you look too friendly and there's nobody there talking to you, but they scan your QR code and they enter into your drawing, right? So there's some of these different ways. Maybe we're gonna have to have a whole event.
Oh, we could fill an hour with events. That's what I'm getting ready for October 8th. So events I know Melissa just filled up a big one. Jamie's got a big one coming up. Okay. We could fill an entire hour, and I am being so intentional. And I need to talk to Melissa because I want to hear how hers went, but very intentional about this upcoming, because I want to compare what in the past that I've done and what I'm implementing to see what the results are. So,
okay, well, since this wasn't going there, we're going to also talk about, so one of the things also Pete and Lynn were talking about was the fact that they loved that Heather had done these really cool gift bundles, but she's like, I had struggled with gift bundles. And so I said, well, what if you did this instead?
Yeah.
Deconstruct all of your gift bundles. Have your mugs, have one, not all of them but one, whatever bundles you're doing, deconstruct all of them but one and say, okay, here's your cup, here's the bags, all the things, build your own bundle and we'll bundle it right out for you, right? So if you can't sell them bundled, then break it down and have the things there for them to build their bundle and what the cost would be. So
yeah. And if you go to Target, I'm gonna throw this nugget out here too. Jody said nugget. Go to Target right now. There's a package of 3 or 5 brown bags that say boo on it for $1. I literally am taking all of my old sleep bundle things, a bar. I made individual samples of caramel apples and an old laundry sample. I'm putting in there. I'm selling those bags for $5 right by the checkout stand. Mama Bev has them. Literally a $5 mystery bag at checkout. I have probably $125 that I can make on these bags that I'm going to catch them right before and get rid of all my old crap.
I know, see, we are getting into that. I will forget to say this if I wait until we do it on events. Oh, no. I actually do that. I set up a gift station at my events closer to Christmas, and I will show you when we do the events talk. I even made a sign that says Santa's Workshop, Santa's Scentsy Workshop, and it says, I'd have to look at it, but it's that premise of here's the mug, here's the room sprays, here's this. And you just say, how much are you looking to spend on the gifts that you need? Let's build the bundles based on your budget.
Yes.
And you're helping them put gifts together right then and there. Because I've found that gift bundles can go both ways. They're very easy to grab on the fly and have them ready to go if somebody needs something quick. But people always get hung up on what scents are in the gift bundles. And so if you have the deconstructed bundles, they have the ability to pick the scents that you have available to build the bundles themselves. But it is a total win. And we can talk about that when we talk about events as well. But it works. And you're providing really great customer service and building a relationship at the same time because you're helping them build the gifts. So
Yeah. Or even find young kids or high schoolers are looking for volunteer hours, bring a roll of paper and set them up in the corner to literally put the bars inside the box, wrap just the warmer box, and you have free gift wrapping right at your station with the pool bows if they suck at making bows. I mean, I had to practice. I was not always good at bows. And Jamie's like, no, I cannot do a bow. Look at her head going down. Buy the pool bows then, but no other booth offers free gift wrapping on site. Are you kidding? How are you different? How are you different?
So what if I say this, and ladies, you guys can tell me because you guys are more the pros in this area. So next week we're doing, so we did a poll in the Thursday night shift group, and the poll kind of showed that social selling was was one of the top things. The next thing was actually what I was going to do next. So I'm not going to tell you what it is because maybe we won't actually do it yet. We'll save that for another. Do you think we have time? It's 13 minutes.
No,
to
we've
do
only
the
got
next
13
thing.
minutes. No.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to save that. So the next one was another thing that we're going to do that we might skip now. And then, so next week was going to be social selling. And what does the 29th look like for you ladies? Can we
I
know?
won't be here. I'm going to Carol G concert with little Lisa in town.
Ooh, okay. So, and then the 6th,
I'm here the 6th.
you, Melissa, Jamie, Jen. Okay. Should we commit to the people? The 6th will be about events.
October. Oh, bring it. That's right before I set up. Actually,
No, Mayday, Callie, we will not.
We won't. I'm not going to be talking about events. I haven't done an event in a
Oh,
long
okay. I
time.
was gonna say, we will
and
not
I'm
be on.
setting
We'll
up
be
for
in New
my
York.
event that day. So I will come live. You're not really going to see anything actually, because I'm going to be literally setting up.
Okay.
I
So
have
does
like
that not work?
hours to set
How
up.
about this? We will not take your time discussing our schedules. And will get
Unless we
back to
do,
you.
unless we do events next week and move social selling 1 week.
Yes, maybe Jill. Where's Jill? She's still here. Maybe we'll do that. We'll discuss it. We'll get back to you guys. But in the next
Yeah.
couple weeks, we're gonna get affairs and show one done with all the tips and all the tricks. And then we will also we'll do a social selling one because that was the top rated, which
Yeah.
I really think I'm gonna be mean for a second. You guys are not gonna like me. I think the reason that you all want social selling tips, no offense, is because nobody wants to talk to anybody. I feel like nobody wants to nobody wants to have a conversation. No one really wants to put the fragrance testers under somebody's nose. I really think, and I'm guilty of that too. So I'll that's why I can say
Well,
it.
and I think too, they're watching consultants that are 13 years in us post something, a huge response. And I think, oh, that's what I need to do. It
Right.
took me 13 years to build the clients loyalty that I have. So I didn't start out this way. Are you kidding me? Like, no way.
And I'll tell you this right now. Here's what I'll also add to that is you cannot base your business, kind of like what I mentioned at the beginning of the call and getting cut off. My posts have been taken. There's no rhyme or reason. I cannot dispute them. My posts are getting taken down left and right, whether it's team stuff, whether it's in my customer groups, wherever it's at, they're getting taken down. So if you are strictly relying on social media to build your business and not getting out in front of people, that can be taken away from you, your entire basis. There was a gal, I can't remember who it was. She was a major Instagram influencer. She had millions of followers and Instagram took down her account. And guess what? She has no repercussion. Those thousands upon thousands of followers, she lost, and you have to rebuild, right? It might be easier because you might have your loyal fans that can share and stuff like that, but most of us aren't going to have that flexibility. So we will talk about it because I know it's a huge part of our business and I know social media is not going anywhere and it is a way of the future 1000%. And you can do great things on social media. And there's lots of consultants that do. I'm just going to say, if that's what you're hoping for, that you can just post and pray, it's not going to present the results you want. Social media means being social, and that you have to also have a backup plan, because at any moment, it doesn't matter what it is, at any moment, you suddenly lose all access and there's nothing you can do about it. So just think about that. Again, I'm not going to say we're going to do it. Yes, Edie lost her Facebook account. Edie and I were actually talking back and forth today about what the heck's going on and how, because right now I'm even afraid to post, because then how am I going to communicate with my team, right? If I post for my customers, then I lose that communication with my team because that's how I've been communicating. So just process that.
Yeah.
And then
Well, think about too, when you're in a parking lot and somebody leaves something under your windshield, or they stick it in your door where my neighborhood says no soliciting, but I open it and the stupid flyer falls down. You think I'm calling any of those people? Not a single flipping one, you guys. But if your best friend says, oh, I asked for an electrician on Facebook. 2 of my friends, one commented, one texted me. I trust them. I know them. I'm going to call the people.
Yeah. See, so it's just word of mouth, friends, people, conversations, talking.
And I'll just add real quick on that too, just showing up, and showing up is not posting. The people that are successful on social media now compared to 10 years ago, not even counting YouTube, are continuously every day, consistently either doing a video, reel, stories, and talking, showing up in their face so that people feel like, oh, I know that person, and you don't have a clue who the person is, but because you see them in their stories every day and they're showing up, that's what, it's completely different than just posting. So when we say showing up, you've got to be prepared to be vulnerable and show your face and be talking to people and not just snapping where you are or what you're doing. Guilty of that too. It's the people that are successful on social media now is all of these platforms want to see your face and want actual videos. That's why Instagram wants reels, video, YouTube wants short videos. Facebook is still wanting videos. They want to see actual short videos. That's where it's gone to these days.
Yep. So just think about that. If you're not willing to do that, then maybe think about some of the other things that we talked about tonight, like borrow bags. So actually, that was what I want to ask. I would think it would be really cool when we wrap it up, if it's on Facebook or if you want to put it in here, wherever you want to do it, what is maybe 1 or 2 takeaways that you got and something new you're going to try? So are you going to go join a group like Pete? Or are you going to go talk to when you get your oil changed, you're going to give some scent circles, your banker, you're going to give a fragrance flower for them to babysit, which I thought was such a cute idea. What are you going to do in your business? Are you going to implement your borrow bags? Are you going to commit? Because actually another thing I was going to circle back to was when I was watching how many people you guys, when you said how many people you've gotten fragrance under their noses in the last 30 days, I saw a lot of numbers that probably weren't going to get you towards your goal. If you're sharing with less than 10 people and you have a goal to hit $1,500 or $2,000 in sales, 5 people isn't going to get you to your goal. Mm-hmm. And that's even, I mean, today I had 3 orders over $100 and that's not going to get me to a $500 goal, right? Yeah. And they're all over $100. So if you look at the average of your sales and you're only sharing with that many people, you're probably not going to grow. So are you going to start getting more fragrance? Are you going to commit to, how are you going to commit to getting fragrance under people's noses so that they are wanting to purchase and they're wanting to party? I think that would be.
Yeah, I'd love to read those. In our last 7 minutes, let's run through really quick the panel. Just tell us really quickly one way that you're getting in front of people and meeting new people. Just real quick, just so maybe it'll give the other people an idea also of something else to try, like Pete's networking group.
I'm not, but I need to. So when I travel, okay. I actually am, because I don't leave my house often. I really don't. I'm a total homebody and COVID was awful for me. When I leave my house, I have to make it intentional that I'm warm. Kind of like Melissa was saying about Jane, right? I have to smile. I have a bitchy resting.
But you do. They're very good at that.
Well, thank you. I try because that's
no, when you're out and about, you call people by name tags, like you acknowledge. I mean, you are very good about bringing
manners. If you show up somewhere with manners, people are like shocked. Like they don't know what to do about that. If you say thank you, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Actually, the other day I said yes, ma'am to somebody, and I don't think it was a man. It was awful because I'm such a habit of it. It was a bad day.
People call me Mr. all the time.
That happens to me all the time, Kelly.
Me too.
All the
time. I wear tons of makeup.
Yeah, but manners. That's the thing. I focus on my manners, and I just when I'm out, I try to be warm with whomever I'm in front of. So,
see, Melissa doesn't wear makeup and gets called the man, and I am a man and I wear makeup. Always calling me that. Always.
I'm told I'm in the wrong bathroom a lot. Anyway, yeah. I was going to say something and now I got totally
sorry. You're meeting new people. How are you getting in front of new people?
No, you know what? I built a really cool relationship just this past weekend at my event from a woman who walked up to me and asked me how my day was first. And I stopped and I was like, I am impressed. And she's like, with what? And I said, I feel like anymore it is difficult to have friendly exchanges with strangers. I said, and you were such a pleasant surprise. And it was like, just by asking somebody how their day is going. And Callie, you said something I'm such a big proponent of, and that is when people are wearing a name tag to use their name. When your waitress's name is on the receipt, when you sign the credit card thing, if she's not wearing a name tag whatever, like using people's names, don't let that be a dying art. It's amazing how it catches people's attention very quickly and it makes you memorable.
I will actually, like if I'm at restaurants or anywhere, I miss their name, I'll say, you know what, darling, I'm so sorry. I missed your name. Okay, thank you, Jackie. Da. Cheers, where everybody knows your name, like it's a thing. So, and actually I wanted to say real quickly, did you offer her like a 10% discount in your booth when she shopped because she was just being nice? I would have done something like that. But like, you know what, here's a free scent circle with your order. Cause that was just, you made my day.
She made my day. Okay, we got sidetracked. So to answer your question, for me right now, getting out in front of people it's event season for me. And so I am using, it's event season and it's party season because I have repeat hosts that always do their fall parties, and encouraging my hosts to invite new people. And, some of these hostesses haven't hosted through COVID. And so connecting with them and making sure that the host coaching is really good because I want some new people at these parties. But realistically, nothing happens if you make nothing happen. So I am making my events intentional with, I want to capture as much customer information as I possibly can now that I am being more diligent on following up with customers and texting them, and capturing contact information is very important. So my events are intentional. And my booking parties is intentional and making sure that my hostesses know that I want this to be a great party for her. I want it to be a great party for me. And so, our time is valuable, and I want it to be worth everybody's while. So, but nothing happens if you make nothing happen.
I'll hop in. So my answer is a lot of the same things that they do, but one thing that I love to do is offer fundraisers. So anywhere I am, if I see somebody with a kid, if I see, the waitress, anybody, I'm always offering fundraisers. I'm like, hey, if you ever need a fundraiser, I'm always looking for new people, new groups. It can be for an individual, it can be for a school, it can be any size, and they are fantastic and super successful. So I really do get a lot of new friends and followers and that kind of thing because of offering fundraisers.
Well, I'll go. And I'm a lot like Callie. I am home a lot. I like to be home. This is comfortable to me. But it is football season. And so I am not going to miss a football game. And so I'm kind of that person, where those people that had the same reserved seats for 100 years in our small town. And I walk my path and I kind of not make eye contact. I've actually been trying to be better about making eye contact and talking to people, because actually that is something I very much struggle with. And I've actually made some lunch plans with a couple of people. So it's baby steps for me. Okay. It's baby steps, but it's somewhere, it's progress.
I'm the exact same way. But what's funny is I'm home a lot, but I have a lot of appointments, but I'm not intentional. And I need to be like, and I just said, I'm going to fill my kindness basket, and I'm loyal to a fault where I go to the same people, the same dog groomer, the same, all the people that I go to, and I give scent circles out, but I'm going to I've collected a bazillion fragrance flowers. So I'm just going to start giving, getting them ready in little goodie bags and giving a kindness flower, giving a fragrance flower to the people that I've gone to, not just random people, but people that I've gone to over and over and over for no reason, because they know that I do Scentsy, but some forget. But I think it would just be a great way to say, thank you. I've been coming to you for years. And if you don't get that stuff ready, you're not going to grab it when you're running out the door. And I'm always running out the door. So I need to get that basket ready so that whenever I'm leaving, going to the doctor, I can just grab a kindness flower and hand one to someone, whether it's, you guys all know, you're all getting your eyebrows done, your nails done, all that fun stuff. You're all doing it. So grab your kindness flower and give it to your little nail tech and make her day, because I think everyone needs that.
I'm going to start with my kindness flowers now. That's a great idea. I go out to a lot of places, and I'm going to add that to my list. One of the things that I'm implementing right now, just because I know I need to get in front of more people, are my scented craft nights. Brought them back. Went on Pinterest, found an inexpensive way to do a fall wreath. In the meantime, I have a realtor's office that wants me to come in and let them do an exercise for them. A lawyer's office that wants me to come in for a team building exercise with their whole staff. I planned my own. My friend booked a wreath one for in November, doing Christmas wreaths, the exact same thing. So my little scented craft night that I was doing only has branched out to team building at businesses and parties at their own house. So if you have a gift, use it and mesh it with Scentsy and make it work. You can do just about anything when those worlds collide.
I love that you said that. And I'm just gonna throw this out there because it was a thought that I got the opportunity to attend a retreat that a friend was having here in Boise last week. And one of their make and take things for their retreat was the simplest garland, where literally she took the brown rickrack twine like this, right? That's just at the Dollar Tree. And they went, and I can get the dimensions from her, but they basically just they chose 4 different types of fabric. They cut it into strips, and they just tied the loop, like you'd put it around and then tie the loop through. And then it made this really cute garland. I have one downstairs, and it was like less than $10, and they were all able to make those super duper quick within the hour. And you could do so many things. And that was her whole point, is just getting people there. She would have her testers. They would be doing a make and take. They'd have a snack, and it would just be a quick and easy night. So I love that you're getting back to those, because you're so creative and do some really cool things. And I know people love them. So yeah, that's another one. Now, you know what, Jill, crafting's not for everybody, so that's okay. And then, so you do the social sell it, and you do the events, and you do the fragrance, you do the networking events, and I'll sit at home, and you guys have so much fun. I'm just kidding. All right, well, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Anything else anybody wants to add before we wrap it up, our panel for the night? No, we're good. Okay, well, we'll get you guys the dates. We'll discuss what we want to do. Jill, if I don't know if you missed that, what part of you were here, we'll get you the social selling date. We'll get you a fairs and shows date. And if there's other things that you want to specifically hear about, go to the thursdaynightshift.com group, and there's a poll up there, and you guys can vote on that, and let us know what you guys want to see more of. So the more specific you are, the better it helps us know what you want. So anyways. All right, have a good night. Great night, guys. We'll talk to you next week.